So, this is how I want to start off the new season of reviews, huh? Marvel's Avengers have been out for 3 weeks, and I played a significant amount of it. I played the whole campaign and some multiplayer missions, and well, listen, back when this was announced, I was like, cool, Square Enix and Marvel. I love Final Fantasy Kingdom Hearts, and I love Marvel, so I had high hopes. And this game wasn't bad, but don't get it twisted, this game isn't great. Hell, it has more issues than the actual Avengers comic series. So, I have really no lores or jokes. I just kind of want to get into this review. So, let's just get into the review of Marvel's Avengers. I'm pretty sure the story is the only issueless part of this game, but that's a very, very big stretch. Basically, we have Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel. She was like 10, attending an Avengers sort of meeting / parade. Really weird. Turns out they were using Terrigen. Okay, in the comics, Terrigen is used by Inhumans basically to create Inhumans. Yeah, they tried to, make aka a Inhuman maker / mutant killer, because mutants are actually pretty sustainable to, they can die from it. Aka Marvel trying to get rid of the X-Men because, they didn't have a film right. But now they do, so that doesn't exist. Basically, she gets the Terrigen, and it also causes a new, Avengers type of helicarrier to explode. And the Avengers try to stop it, but ends up killing Cap. Now, I say killing very useless, because, spoiler, he's not dead, he's in space. But it ends up infecting people, giving them superpowers. But again, it doesn't actually seem like that big of a bad deal. I understand people would be scared of people with superpowers, but dude, I can make portals. That'd be awesome. But it's whatever. But yeah. Now, the reason I think this is a good story isn't because of the actual story premise, because to be honest, it's generic and kind of rips off the X-Men horribly. But I like the character they chose and how they handled certain characters. Look, Bruce Banner is a way better character than he's ever been in the MCU with this game. And I can say that as a Hulk fan. He feels a lot more tortured, but at the same time, him and the Hulk feel like they are in sync with one another, which is exactly how they are in the comics. They're not always in sync with each other, and Bruce knows that he wants to cure him, and the Hulk knows it too. But in here, he does kind of feel in sync in that he knows when to use the Hulk, and the Hulk isn't exactly a monster for pure destruction. Hell, he gets depressed. The Hulk actually gets depressed when Captain America dies. He just wants to be left alone. And while that's sad, it's sweet because it shows he cares about his friends and his family. Something we don't really get in the MCU until they merge into one. Iron Man isn't MCU Iron Man. He's not the righteous hero or always thinking ahead or the douchebag. No, he's current comic Iron Man. He's a goofball, a wingnut, a Spazatron Dagadon. I don't know, that joke didn't go anywhere. But he is putting others before him, and you kind of see that. And you see that the character, he's developing. And also, for some strange reason, every time he talks, I just hear fucking Deadpool because they have the same voice actor, and it's really, really distracting. Now, Thor is barely in the story. He comes towards the end, and I can't really judge his character. He acts like typical Thor and has really no developing moments, so it's why are you fucking here? And Black Widow isn't really that well written here. She's not MCU Black Widow, so she's very cold and standoffish. She doesn't even feel like she likes being a part of the team, because every time a situation actually occurs, she kind of walks off and just doesn't like being involved. But as soon as the team comes back together, she's just there. Hey, look, you have to get a lot more well-written stuff, not in the story, but in the post-story, because that's when she actually shows her personality. And that's the thing, I like Black Widow a lot. She was my favorite MCU character before, my boy Spider-Man came, but things happen, and I just honestly gotta go with it. Honestly, Cap, when he comes back, he's the perfect leader, and that's about it, but they don't really develop him all that well. You could tell he has a concern more for Kamala's safety than he does anything else, and I do like that. Honestly, Kamala was the best part of the story. The story was strong with her there, and it's she was the glue that kept it together. I feel like Kamala needed this sort of love to kind of, push her forward, because she is one of the best characters in the most well-written one in this whole thing. Also, everyone's kind of complaining that there's not a lot of diverse characters. I kind of agree with you there. I mean, there were some black characters that they could have introduced, or minority characters that they could have put in the starting lineup. And I'm just saying, well, Kamala was there. Yeah, that's cool, but I mean, you could have had Falcon kind of pop up, and even if it was just for a second, Falcon. I know Black Panther's coming, and I understand why they haven't showed him. R.I.P. to the King. But yeah, there's a lot of characters of different minorities. But am I mad about that? Not really, for one reason. It's the original 6 Avengers, and they weren't all that diverse. I mean, I could say Nick Fury was there, so that kind of kept some of the story together. But generally, the story wasn't as interesting. MODOK as a villain just felt one note and kind of like, eh. And Monica played the evil bitch trope pretty damn well. Oh, and Abomination was barely there for like 3 seconds. But I mean, I guess one thing I didn't like is, if this is a bigger world, Marvel world, they could have introduced so many cool, like, side characters and villains to be introduced. Like, there's so many villains that the Avengers have faced. And there's so many villains that AIMs are in charge of. The first time I have to say this, and I'm gonna regret ever saying this, ever. Marvel vs. Capcom handled having villains in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite better than they did, but we don't talk about that story more. Let's just move on to the gameplay, because I don't think there's much else I could tell for this story besides that it's like a C+. So yeah. People have been shitting on the core gameplay of this game, and to be fair, they both didn't really give it a chance, and then they make a bunch of fair points that made me think, they actually did play the game. Here's a positive. Every character feels different, and it feels like they looked at all the crappy games and said, yeah, we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to take what they would have done and we're going to improve on it. So, let's go with Thor. And by the way, I'm kind of going to go off script with how I feel about the game to this character. Thor played a lot like Kratos from God of War, using a lot of lightning-based attacks, being able to use his hammer as a projectile, but not just that, being able to boomerang it back at people and ricochet it. He generally had this frantic, cool gameplay that works for him, and generally, even flight feels more natural than with Iron Man, but it feels better with Thor, because Thor has a sort of unique sort of dynamic with it. At least in my opinion. Chris dynamic, I'm giving you an A+ on that. The Hulk, on the other hand, is the more boring side of it. He's, how do you put it? While he's a gigantic, massive tank, he doesn't feel as fun. Feels like a less coordinated version of his Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 counterpart, which was actually more dynamic and fun, and all you do is press one button for that. He had a lot more variations with his combat in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. The most he does is punch stuff, grab people, and throw rocks. Here's the thing, I really liked playing the Hulk in the beta, but when it came to him in the full game, he got repetitive and boring very quickly. Iron Man is a character that outside of the game, I don't like him very much in the comics or in the movie, but in this game he is awesome both character-wise and gameplay-wise. He uses a variety of weapons such as rockets, missiles, lasers, all just for one opponent if you have to, and he can summon the Hulkbuster. You do combos that build up his meter, which is amazing, and his flight feels so great. You feel like Iron Man. Like, they could take each and every segment of this and make a whole game, and it will possibly be way better than this game combined, and that's saying something. Especially with Iron Man. I'd play the hell out of a Crypto Dynamic Iron Man game, but I'd play the hell out of the next character I'm going to talk about, which is Black Widow. I'd play the hell out of a Crypto Dynamic Black Widow game, because she's actually extremely fun for people that actually know how to use her. The thing is that while she doesn't have a lot of an arsenal in her pocket, mainly because all she does is guns and like her batons, it's well done. The combo system is well done for her, and it works amazingly. She had this sort of Bayonetta wit time, but then she fights like a Devil May Cry character at times. She combines combos, adding up into this sort of mixed match of it, and I fucking love it. She is an amazing character that I feel like people, if you're going to use a character that's melee, use her or use Captain America. Captain America is essentially Arkham Batman, except his shield is off the chain. You can do a lot of shit with him if you actually try. throwing his shit in the right direction. It can ricochet and hit multiple opponents. His rally call essentially gives everyone on the team a boost, and it's just a generally cool thing with him. And Kamala had some of the funner gameplay. She's probably at number 1, mainly because she has variety with how like her size increases or how she deals. And her projectile is just her stretching and punching people. So it's kind of fun to spam, like her animations look amazing. But there's a lot of bad bugs with this game. At the time of this recording, there is an update that's going to patch up everything, but I need to address this now. So a few issues. At one point I died in the game, I know what to do. Came back and the music was completely broken and hadn't really been used. So I had to restart the game till the music came back. The looting system is fucking garbage, bro. You'll have high powered loot, but it won't make that big of an effect. The one thing I gotta like is that they do separate loot and cosmetics, but it doesn't fix that the looting system is the most broken piece of shit ever in possibly working game. I don't know why the fuck superhero games are doing this gear system, because it doesn't work. The level tree requires way too much grinding to even make a dent in it. I beat the game without leveling up people as much, but it still took way too much time. And the game AI really does suck, like it's pretty fucking bad. And also, to add a kick button to the online multiplayer, because let me put it this way, there's a lot of people who don't do the fucking mission, and we're forced to play with them. Look, I understand you bought this game to play with the boys, but I'm not your boy. You're gonna kick me out because I don't want to be here because you're not doing the mission. Instead, you're going out being a dumbass looking for loot, when you could have done that on your own time. But that's my little right. We are forced to literally play with it. Overall, the game is a C+ with this gameplay, and I guess that's why it's kind of a mediocre mess. The music in this game is oddly whatever. It sounds like Injustice 2's theme, and it just lacks identity. That's what happened to most of these Marvel games, except for Marvel Kingdom Alliance, but it doesn't feel cool or dramatic or dynamic. It just feels MCU-ish, and that music is eh. The only time the game was like really bumping was in the Iron Man segment, because it played like AC/DC or Iron Maiden, or in some of the comedic scenes like when Kamala Khan and Bruce Banner are like driving and it plays I Don't Care, I Love It, but that's a licensed music. But other than that, this game really has terrible music. This game looks amazing graphically. I just wish it had, a little more personality. It doesn't look like a comic book, it looks like a movie, and that's something I really have to say. Kind of a shame when Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 had a lot more personality than this game ever will have. It just tries too hard to be a movie, and yeah, it succeeds, but it's kind of boring. But look, let's just look at some of the good of this game, because throughout this review I know I sound fucking miserable, but this game kinda has me in a weird state of mind. Well, as I gave credit, the characters are super cool when written well, and I gotta say I actually do like their gameplay. Combat is pretty good when it works, and honestly the Easter egg to the bigger Marvel universe is one of the funnest things about the game. Kamala is one of the funniest and coolest protagonists and gives us a sort of insight on what the Marvel Universe is like from a fan's perspective. But she's also a hero, so that means she had to grow and adapt and become an Avenger. That's actually really all I could say that's good. Multiplayer works, so that's also a really plus, and gets free DLC characters coming. So that's all I can really say. I mean, it's fun to play with friends, but that's as far as I can really give it credit for. But let's get into the bad of this game, because it's just kind of a huge paragraph. Man, it's gonna feel like a laundry list of problems. But again, at the time of this recording, they're working on a patch to fix over 1,000 bugs. But again, they must be addressed. First big one is the load times. At least on console, they are horrible. I really hope this is a part of that patch, because like dear God, it takes 4 to 7 minutes for a level to load. And yes, I counted. The gear system and loot system is extremely bad and broken. Even forcibly giving you powerful loot and gear doesn't actually make you as strong as you need to be. They constantly force loot and grinding on you, and there's microtransactions, but they don't really, I'm not spending $7 on a digital market shit. Also, not buying the battle pass. for every single character that comes out, making Fortnite look reasonable. But the game can't even keep up its usual 30 frames at its current state, with its base state. And lastly, no mission variety. It's like either a survive or beat this enemy type of mission or a boss fight. And bonus fact, only 2 boss fights are robots. Even the final boss is a freaking robot. I understand it's MODOK, but shit, they didn't even try. Now look, these things are going to be addressed and fixed in the patch, but for right now, it's inexcusable. And I really feel like they should have at least fixed the load time before releasing the game. So, to end this off, I really have high hopes for this game. I mean, the beta gave me some hope, and I know you just heard my playtest go off, but after playing it, it honestly just felt like it was just an okay game. Is it worth $60 presentation-wise? Hell yeah it is. But gameplay-wise, it's like worth $40. And that's me being extremely generous and kind. I don't want my money back. I just kind of want them to fix the game, because I actually do like the game and improve on the game. Well, I would like my time back for that boring-ass campaign, but I don't think that's really possible. So I did the game with a very generous heart, and it took so much time. That it would be that one guy always complaining about the game on the internet. There's like 50 channels, and most of them are extremely popular that already gave the game like 6 and 5 and a 4. I'm gonna give it a 7, because I feel like the game has a lot of potential. It's showing a lot of potential, and hell, they are already fixing most of the problems I addressed. So that really put it up to a 7.5, but it's definitely not an 8, 9, or 10. But they're fixing the issues. But overall, it's a 7 out of 10 for me. I kind of wish I had waited for the game to get on sale before I dropped the whole $60 on it. But that's why I didn't buy the season pass, because I didn't really have a big hope for this game. But anyhow, thank you guys for watching. Well, I'm going to make sure I have a lot more reviews. If you want to keep up with me, and I know you've seen a lot of this footage as a part of my Twitch channel, go check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/PhantomBrawler9. Also, don't forget to check me out on Twitter at Phantom Brawler or Phantom Combos. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace. So how was the game? You pulled me out of a pocket dimension for that crap? I mean, technically you bought the game. It's on your credit card. Whatever. What's next on the list? Oh, you're gonna love this one.